The Samsung Galaxy S24 is finally here and is packed full of features to make it Samsung's best phone yet. Let me know in the comments who out there is ordering the new S24, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest tech. So first up, Samsung have opened the reservation page for the Galaxy S24 series, and best of all, you can reserve it now with no commitment to even buy, just by putting in your name and email address, and you're also going to receive free Samsung credit on top of the launch offers. Now of course, I've placed a link down in the description below as well as the card in the top right corner, so if you're even considering the S24 series, then I recommend you check it out. Reports are stating that the pre-order benefit this time round is going to be double storage capacity for free, as well as discounts available for the Buds or the Watch. Now when it comes to the S24 Ultra, there was a little bit of confusion on the specs, but thankfully the full spec sheet has now been leaked, which clears everything up. Now I can't show the marketing material as Samsung would take the video down, but when it comes to cameras, it's a 200 megapixel wide-angle camera for the primary, we get a 12 megapixel ultra-wide, a 50 megapixel telephoto with 5x optical zoom, and then a 10 megapixel telephoto with 3x zoom. The 10x telephoto was removed as it's no longer needed in the S24. With a 50 megapixel 5x camera, it can be cropped to deliver 10x zoom at optical quality, so this setup gives a much better hybrid zoom across the whole zoom range. We've also got all the new AI features, and these not only improve the photography, but greatly improve the post-processing. Now we get an impressive 2600 nits of peak brightness, which is one of the highest we've seen in a smartphone, and this isn't just for the S24 Ultra, but the whole Galaxy S24 series. Now we've also got a tweet from Ice Universe, and he says that the Galaxy S24 Ultra is going to offer 4K videos at 120 frames a second, and this is double the frame rate of its predecessor. Now this is no doubt going to be using the 200 megapixel wide-angle camera, and it's great for those of you that want that super slow motion shot. Now the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is shipping with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in all regions, whereas the S24 and the S24 Plus are going to use the Exynos 2400 in certain regions, but we now have the benchmarks which show the Exynos is catching up to the Snapdragon. Now this benchmark shows that the S24 Plus, powered by the Exynos 2400, gets a single core score of 2193, then a multi-core score of 6895, and this is fairly close to the Snapdragon chip, which scored 2234 for single core, and then 6807 for multi-core. Now for those of you concerned about the prices, we've got pricing leaks from multiple countries now, and they generally show that the launch price is going to be exactly the same as last year, although some of the higher storage variants are a little bit more. But that being said, with double the storage for free on launch, this shouldn't be an issue. For those concerned about the design, we've already had the leaked marketing images and renders, and unfortunately, again, I can't show these due to copyright issues with Samsung, but I've created these renders based on their marketing material, so this is exactly what the Galaxy S24 Ultra is going to look like. Now of course, the official launch is going to be held on the 17th of January in San Francisco, and the invites have already gone out. But for those of you excited, we're now going to run through the full specs, design, and the pricing for each model in the range. For my regular viewers, you guys have seen this, so just skip to the next video, but if you're new here, then hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. The standard Galaxy S24 is coming with a 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display with a peak brightness of 2600 nits. We get a resolution of 2340 by 1080, and it's going to be using Samsung's new M13 OLED panels protected by Gorilla Glass armor. We get a 12 megapixel punch-hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear it's a 50 megapixel primary camera, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 10 megapixel telephoto, and of course it's going to be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA, while European users are going to be getting the Exynos 2400. We get 8GB of RAM and a choice of 128 or 256GB storage, and this is of course UFS 4.1. It comes with a 4000 mAh battery, and it can charge from 0% to 50% in just 30 minutes. That we're getting 5G, Bluetooth 5.3, and Wi-Fi 7. Now it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from around $800 on the 17th of January in San Francisco. Now next up, we've got the Galaxy S24 Plus with a 6.7-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. We get an upgraded Quad HD Plus resolution of 3120 by 1440, and it's going to be using Samsung's new M13 OLED panel, and again it's protected by Gorilla Glass armor. We get a 12 megapixel punch hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear again it's a 50 megapixel primary, a 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 10 megapixel telephoto. It's going to be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA, and again Europe users are going to get the Exynos 2400, and again we get 12 gigabytes of RAM and then the choice of 256 or 512 storage, which will be UFS 4.1. We get a 4900 mAh battery and it can charge from 0% to 65% in just 30 minutes. And again, we get 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. It's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14 and it's expected to launch from around $1,000 on the 17th of January. Now finally, we've got the most premium, the Galaxy S24 Ultra. And with the S24 Ultra, we've got a 6.8-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. It's got a resolution of 3088 by 1440, and again, it's using Samsung's new M13 OLED panel, protected by Gorilla Glass armor, with a peak brightness of 2600 nits. We get a 12 megapixel punch hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear it's a 200 megapixel primary camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, we get a 50 megapixel 5x telephoto that can also crop to 10x, as well as another 10 megapixel telephoto with 3x optical zoom. Despite previous rumors, it's going to be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in all regions, and it's only the S24 and the S24 Plus that are still going to be using the Exynos. And with the S24 Ultra, we get up to 12 gigabytes of RAM with up to 1 terabyte of storage, and this is of course UFS 4.1. It comes with a 5000 mAh battery and it's able to charge from 0% to 65% in just 30 minutes. We're also going to get 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. Now it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14 and it's expected to launch from around $1,200 on the 17th of January. So overall, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is actually looking like a big upgrade from the predecessor. All of the new AI features alone make for a much better experience, especially when it comes to the photography. The impressive 2600 nits display means usability is going to be so much better, especially in the sunlight, and the flat display is going to help when pressing the screen near the edge, especially for those of you using the S Pen. Now the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is of course going to bring huge improvements to the performance, as well as better efficiency and battery life, and overall I'm happy with all of the changes in the Galaxy S24 series. Now given its similarities to its predecessor, it's probably not going to make anyone with the S23 rush for an upgrade, but for those of you with an older S phone or looking to get their first S phone, then it's going to be a great choice. Now of course, launch is only just over a week away, and if anything else comes in the meantime, I'm going to be sharing it straight away, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.